Hello everyone. Hello to all of you. I'm so sorry I was unable to see that I went live or not. So, hello and good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to this session. We are going to do some more comprehension based questions in this session today. Please let me know in the comment if I'm properly audible and visible. Also, if you're new here, subscribe our channel. Quickly like and share the session. Those who don't know me, my name is Niharika John Mehra. I'm faculty of English and have been teaching English for more than 10 years now. So we will wait for a minute for more learners to join. By that time, you can like and share, and then we will go into the session. I'll make a few adjustments. We will be doing these questions with timer. You have to read a lot when it comes to means, okay? Especially when it is English, you have lengthy things in front of you, lengthy questions. So it is of utmost importance that you should speed up your reading. Understanding along with reading, skimming basically, and you don't have to translate everything. You simply need to understand those things which are required to solve the questions, and that will only come through practice. There are no five things which I can tell you, these are only important things, read these and you will be through. I cannot do that. That's not how it is done. Otherwise it would have been so simple, right? There it's means for a reason. So that's there. We'll start. Please understand what is to be done. The answer here is D. You have to answer here in the chat, by the way. अगर आपको नहीं पता है आंसर आप. Now the question here, choose the option that best conveys the same meaning as the original sentence. And of course, that has to be grammatically, meaning wise, and use wise correct. So, first, give it a good read. The question, telecom payments case. Case is another example of what? Of how government branches, these branches are delaying important words. Highlight them in your mind, okay? Delaying bankruptcy settlements, while there is another thing happening. Indian banks suffer the bad debt ratios. Okay. So banks in India are going through a rough patch. That's the same meaning. They are suffering, so they are going through a rough patch. When it comes to bad debt ratio, so with respect to what? ये आपका fulfill हो गया worst bad debt ratios. So when it comes to bad debt ratios, and at the same time, our government is holding up bankruptcy settlements like telecom payments. So that is the first part of my question. Telecom payments is another example of how government branches are delaying settlements. So it delaying and holding up. That means not proceeding ahead. So that's what we are saying in the next part of our sentence. Now, why other options are wrong? Procrastination has resulted in banks. This is the wrong context, a wrong relationship. Nowhere the question sentence says that this delaying or procrastination is why something happened. There are two things happening at the same time, but of course A is not how it is. Then the Indian banking system needs to find a way out from bad debt ratios. It needs to find a way out, yes, and a government should not delay. This is suggestive tone. I don't have to interpret, I have to paraphrase or rewrite the same sentence with same information in our own way. That is only happening in D. GDP के बारे में बात नहीं है, so I cannot talk suddenly about it. And C also is incomplete, so answer was D. Please see what is given and then you start doing the question. Answer. Answer here is first and the third one. You have a small paragraph, which is this one, followed by three possible conclusions. This is the same type of question which we did yesterday, that was possible outcome. So possible conclusion, outcome more or less are the same, which may or may not be correct. The question is then followed by five options. You have to choose the one that gives you the best possible outcome. So understand the given passage first. It could be just one single line, it could be few lines, it depends on your examiner. The White House has made a proclamation. Now, what is that? Restricting the issuance of non immigrant work visas. So, there is a restriction on that across the board, purportedly to clamp down what on American jobs going to foreign workers, a consistent policy priority of the Donald Trump administration. So what has happened? White House has made a proclamation. It's about restricting. It's about keeping American jobs to just to Americans, and this is what has happened in Donald Trump administration. There is little doubt that the policies of Trump White House are like to genuflect to the broader requirements of the 2020 presidential campaign, one of which is a sharp focus on America first. That's what it is happening. America first, right? Now, this is a topic about which you can have some foreknowledge. You might have read about it, you might have read a lot of news and articles about it, but your answer should not be based on that. My passage, the question passage, it talks about that what the administration is doing. So the possible outcome is that there is no doubt, there is little doubt. That means there is actually no doubt that they are putting America first, and that's what is the outcome we get to see. The broad brush order includes visa for skilled workers, which is widely important. This, which is widely garnered by Indian nationals, and H-2B visa issued to seasonal workers, and L1 other one, and J1 visa for other one. But this is not an outcome. This is an information, a piece of information about what kind of visa is issued to whom. So that is not the possible outcome of this proclamation. Proclamation was the most important thing here in the question. Third one says the week's proclamation offered data to bolster that claim. You know the claim. Noting that between Feb and April, more than so many workers lost their jobs. This is, of course, relevant to this and why this happened. It also observed that similar numbers could be found in the other listed visa categories. So it was about, see, jobs going to foreign workers, work visas. It is related, not just related, but because this thing happened, now this thing has a chance to happen, to take place. It's a possibility, and that's why third one also is to be considered. This is a direct question. For this, you won't get a lot of time. Okay. Answer to this one is suitable. We still have more questions on the same para. So now you know the correct word that was supposed to be used. The word, once again to tell you, was suitable in the blank. Now you have to do the basic thing. Sixth sentence is fixed at its place, and you are supposed to rearrange A, B, C, D. And let me write it here. This was the first question to fill the blank. Now rearrange all. Sixth is fixed at its place. It's the last one. You have to arrange all of them and answer here in case you have just joined. Okay. Going to give 15-20 seconds more. Rest of you can try by that time. Okay. The answer here we have is A, D, C, B, E. Okay, so the first question based on these set of sentences was to fill the blank. So here we have the word suitable. Okay. Co-working place is defined. See guys, any definition is introduction of something. Okay, so co-working space is defined as sharing of space by office space by so many people. Now, this is a strong contender for the first sentence. This sentence is a strong contender for that. While co-working has many benefits, now here the tone is changing. It is not necessarily not suitable for everyone. So now here is a contrast. Let's first finish talking everything nice about A, that is co-working, the benefits and all, and then using while we can go and talk about all negatives or all the challenges. C says it also helps. Also, important word, also here. That means we have already mentioned how it is helping earlier. Then we are saying C. It also helps fill the social needs people have by simply bringing together a group of people. Let's think. Co-working spaces allow individuals to rent out of workplace alongside others doing the same. So A is definition positive, D is also part of definition, extension of definition positive, and it also helps. All of them, A, D, C, are gonna come together in this sequence because we are talking about uh, the positives of co-working space. बट बी में अभी कॉन्ट्रास्ट आ गया. If you prefer a quiet environment with minimum of interruptions, then co-working space may not be suitable. So the point of suitability is being explained in B and E. Okay, and that's why. And why B first? Because here while is used to bring a contrast. It has many benefits. So half of the B is still talking about co-working having benefits, and that's why you can consider this is a transition sentence, and then you go to E and you continue with sixth one, okay, where you're still talking about the interruption, background noise, and all. Yes, as of now, I am taking classes daily. It's here on YouTube. Usually, my classes are under our courses, which are on our website. But for a couple of next days, I'm here. Okay, let me squeeze this. Please read the question what you are supposed to do. Let me see if the content it is visible or not properly. Otherwise, I will shrink it a little bit. Okay. Just for this question, I'm shrinking the slide a little bit. Okay. Just see if you can manage just for this question. Let me fit it back. Yes, D is the answer here. So what do we have is you want to replace the fifth sentence. Now, if you have done the arrangement properly, then only you will be able to do this, है ना? So the rearrangement part, fifth one was E. Okay. So it says if you prefer a quiet work environment with a minimum of interruptions, then co-space is not your deal. So, co-working space users may have minimal choices when it comes to ergonomic issues such as desk space and seating. Okay. Yes, others are not helping at all. This A says it can provide, it is in the favor of co-working. Co-working allows you a designated area. It is the definition of co-working, B1. Then A, C is also positive. We don't require that one. The fifth sentence is to be replaced and it should have the same negative tone just like we have in E. So that was your answer. Okay. There is another one to do. Let me fit it back. Chalo, we'll do this one now. This is another parajumble. There are 6 sentences. Though they are short, I would want you to focus, to pay attention and then rearrange. Send your answers here. Answer starts with B, A, D, E, C, F. Good job. Those who didn't get it right, please understand. Of course, B is independent because C has his, he. It was this. This happened. A could be something, but just hold on. It has a lot of details. Till today, that means this is conclusive in tone. We are summing up everything we mentioned before F. So B is the first one, F is the last one. इतना first reading में clear हो जाता है. It was a cycling race launched in 153 by Henry, a magazine editor in Paris. What was that? The Tour de France is a test of human endurance. BNA together. Okay. His aim was to boost circulation of his magazine. His idea worked. So before anything that could work, we will first talk about aim. That's how it happens, right? Logical flow. So D will come somewhere before C, may not be immediately before, but somewhere before C. He wanted to achieve this aim is to be achieved, and that's why E will come after D. So you have BA, you have DEC, and then you have F, that is concluding in tone. Okay. Please go through the para. It will require some reading. So, I mean, some reading with attention. Please do this. You get many such questions in mains where you have one para to read and there is just one question based on that. Okay, it could be anything. So it takes a lot of time and you just get to do one question, but that's how it is. So you have to practice such questions as well. On not this much of time. Answer here is A. So you are supposed to mark the answer that summarizes the paragraph. This is what you have to do. Like you have to read everything if you want to summarize. Summary is one sentence that will cover from top to bottom everything, or at least the gist of it. Okay. Now picture this. Let's picture what it is saying. A herd of elephants. What? A herd of elephants flies past you at whatever speed, doesn't matter. It must be a circus train. One of the first uses of the circus train is credited to W.C. Cook. He partnered with whosoever. Now names and dates and number of things you don't have to keep in mind. Simply know what is happening in the passage. So we are getting the details here. Okay, he partnered with somebody to reach to broader audience and all. Since there were no highways, these voyages were rough and took a long time. Some challenges. Circuses would stop at many small towns between large venues. Performing many of these small towns were not very profitable, negative, because these limitations circus could not grow. After they began using circus trains, they only brought their show to larger cities. Now the performances were much more profitable. Profits went towards creating even bigger, better circus, and there were multiple things added. Okay, So basically, what were the challenges and how from every place, stopping at every place, they shifted to just operating and working in larger cities. That's what we get to see. Circuses used to have a difficult time traveling and had to stop at many places along the way. Trains allowed them to explore and travel more. That's exactly what my passage is telling. Half of the passage it talks about how traveling was difficult and taking small stop and working, having shows in small towns. It was not profitable, but it changed because of trains. Circuses changed the way people travel. Circuses didn't change the way people travel. This is not even close to what is written. Circuses were always part and parcel of city life. No, it became later maybe something that was city life used to. Trains allowed circuses to travel smoothly. That is true. From one town to another without difficulty. This is true, but this is not the complete summary. Now, D can confuse some of you. Trains, they did help circuses to travel from one town to another, but my passage also talks about how they were unable to do it before trains. So the summary has to have a complete sense of what is given in the passage. D is incomplete. Circuses have a difficult time traveling and that made them redundant. No. Later we get to see that they were able to make some profit and work well. So A was your answer. Next. How do you say holy cow in French? The fastest thing in France, again the summary thing, France may just be fastest ground transportation in the world. EGP is France's national high speed rail service and it set a record, reaching whatsoever mile doesn't matter. These trains operated at the highest speed in passenger train, but what you may find most shocking is that they run on electric power, not petrol. Now, if you will excuse me, I have a record to catch. Now, again, uh, these are some important things जो मैंने highlight करी हैं. Now, TGV is a French train that set a record for the fastest one and the fastest passenger train service. Passenger train service, we do get it. We do get to see it has set a record. That's all. It's nothing more. People always have obsession. See, people may like, but the summary cannot be this. This could be an interpretation that people like to travel on such vehicles, but we can't go with that one. TGV is going to change the way people see transport in the world. Too much to say, not the summary. TGV is the best to travel in France. One of the interpretation, but not the summary. See, interpretation is what you understood after reading the details of the passage. So it could be inference but not the summary. Summary has to be as it is what is given in the passage. Electric power is gaining momentum. This is altogether a different thing. में से तो train हटा ही दिया है. So that's why A was your answer. So here you are given a blank. This is para completion, and the blank is right in the beginning. Give it a rough read, remaining passage. You read it, you skim it in that way, and then decide A, B, C, D which sentence fits well here in the blank. One people answer. That's your answer. Dash. And now it's in the beginning. That means it should have tone of introduction, and that should relate and flow to the next things which are written. Maternal and child health at and below poverty lines remain neglected even after so many things. Every year, so many women die, and so many children suffer, they also die. Absolute numbers, India outranks all other countries. It's sad thing, it's a very negative, toned para. Let's see how it could start. Health is currently a privilege in India, not a right. See, it's a privilege. That's why these people who are below poverty lines or they are at poverty lines are suffering. They're even dying. Makes sense, right? That's why D is the answer. Now A says other why others are not. I'm gonna explain that as well. The fundamental reason why our health targets are not achieved and will not be achieved unless we radically change our strategies is that we set targets without setting strategies. First of all, health targets are not exactly what maternal and child health के बारे में आगे हम बोलेंगे, right? If you're generally talking about health targets, let's say somebody wants to make sure that the thyroid level goes down, okay? Somebody having high level of thyroid. So that is a health target for some. But why suddenly we are jumping to maternal and child health alone if we are starting with A? A cannot be the beginning. Many national health programs cover millions of beneficiaries, yet they are managed by just 2 3 technical managers. No, we are saying that the maternal and child health of these people who are poor people remain neglected even after so many things. So we have to give a context here why we are talking about these people unable to avail the best of the plans and all. Second one gives no sense. While improving health systems is important, we cannot afford to wait until such changes are made. Too much to say right in the beginning. We want a general, generic thing. So, we are starting with yes, we are going to talk about health in the further passage, but we are going to talk about it how it is a privilege and not everybody can afford it. They are dying. There is not enough for everyone. So that's why author can start in a dramatic manner saying it's not a right. A right is for everyone, irrespective of the bank balance, right? That's why he's saying it's not a right. Why it's not a right? Because see, the people are still suffering, they are dying. That's why it's not a right. That is how it is related, and B is your answer. Now you have blank at the end. It should be conclusive in tone. It should have a conclusion or a suggestion kind of a thing. That's all I can tell you before you attempt the question. Come on, people, answer. Casting our ego as the enemy in a holy war and winning that battle is an exceedingly difficult proposition. So, casting our ego as the enemy, getting rid of our ego is very difficult, primarily because the ego proves to be most subtle adversary. In this complicated sentence, there is just one message that casting out our ego is difficult, nothing more than that. In fact, the ego will even join the battle itself. As an enemy, it infiltrates our life. So, author is comparing ego with an enemy, how it is affecting us negatively. For most of us, it comes to nothing but an increased layer of suffering as we merely fight ourselves in the name of spirituality and sink more deeply into morass of self-centeredness. So it is difficult. The same tone continues. One of the rarest of souls, not everyone, one of the rarest of souls means maybe हिंदी में जिसे इक्का दुक्का बोलते हैं, maybe one or two, finds a way through this conundrum. Why it is a conundrum? Why it is a complex thing? Because even though it is an enemy, it is joining the battle itself against itself. So to fight battle against ego, you must have ego. I mean, that's a complicated a thing, a contradictory thing, and that's why it is a conundrum. That's how B is the one jo last mein aayega. A. How does one fight a battle against such a devious and resourceful enemy? This could have been something that is related, that we are ending with a question, leaving everyone to think about what is written in the passage. But we want to be specific, we want to conclude as in there should be no further questions. That's why B. An alternative but also traditional view casts ego in an entirely different perspective. See, if you see here, then I'll have to write more about what is this alternative. Okay, I'll have to explain it more. It cannot be an ending sentence. Our belief in our ego is to a large extent learned from society. Information is about ego, but not to be placed at this place. Casting our ego aside is actually easy, totally opposite of what my author is saying here. That's why B was your answer. चलो अगला करो. Again, your blank is at the end, so think and answer. Okay. Yes. See, for supporters of the impact theory, the KT, boundary layers contain two crucial clues. In 79, scientists discovered that there were high concentrations of rare element, whatever the name is, iridium, which they thought could have been from an asteroid. Right underneath, there was a layer of spherules. These were the tiny balls of rock which seem to have been condensed. Now, you have two things. You have quite technical information here. On the basis of the spherules and a range of other evidence, Dr. Allen deduced that the impact must have happened in this peninsula. So now, see guys, you have to talk further about something that should be relevant, right? You're going to build the paragraph. So here, from this point to this point, whatever information is, how it will go ahead. We can conclude, see, we already talked about there was iridium and the second layer was spherules. And now I want to conclude it based on the two findings, what I can deduce or what somebody deduced. So basis on the basis of spherules, we are continuing to talk about spherules and a range of other evidence also. It was deduced that ऐसा ऐसा हुआ होगा. The impact theory seemed to provide the complete answer. At this point, I don't even know. I'm simply mentioning that there were two things that we were able to find out. This must have finished off dinosaurs by a variety of mechanisms. They concluded. Who are these? Who are they? Have you got some names here? Otherwise, this could have been a perfect sentence to end. This must have been. Okay, so imagine I don't have this portion here. This must have finished off dinosaurs. I could have still thought about using C here, but not when I have they concluded. Who are these? I don't know. That information is something I can use later, writing a little bit more about who were these people who were working in the team and all. The impact theory was beautifully simple and appealing. I don't have to do anything about it. No sense to put it here. Catastrophic collision about so many years ago uh, did something, created a disk of molten rock. This is a new information, and we don't use new information at the end. We want to conclude, we want to end the paragraph, no? So, introducing a new thing over here, a new information. Now, having new words in a sentence does not mean that it is a new information. There is a difference, okay? So try and understand, we do get lot of new words in A, but the whole point that is coming out of the sentence, the idea that is coming out of the sentence is conclusive in tone, also talking about something mentioned earlier, and that's why that was your answer. This would be the last question, and now this is in the between. No issue. That's why you are here. So that you can make mistakes here. No problem at all, but not in the exam. Learn from that. Can answer. Okay, guys. Answer is B. The earlier anthropological work in industry was confined to human relations in the factory. Okay, it was confined. Something happened. The special form of labor problems is seen as patterned by some other thing. So we spoke about how there was something confined to within the factory, then there was something, and now we are switching to talking about the special form of the problems. Okay. If a worker is rushed without warning into a new job where he cannot use his skills, it may bring about aggression. Talking about aggression and then talking about special form of labor problems is this makes no. The interdependence of industry and community was also investigated. See, the earlier work was confined. Earlier work means investigation. This work is actually the finding of what is happening in the industry that was confined to human relations within, okay, within the factory. So there is relationship within the factory. But interdependence of industry, factory, and community was also extensively investigated. And now we got to know that the special form of problems is seen as something this. That's why B was the right answer here. You have to sometimes use elimination technique and then you will reach to something that fits here. By using anthropological methods, the administrator can attain control. Not talking about control, who is this administrator? So that's why C is out. Some special features of behavior of automobile unions. We are talking about factories in general, anthropological work in general, human relation in general. So specifically automobile unions की बात करना at this point and then going back to talking generally about labor is wrong. In analyzing exploitation, many political economists absolutely wrong. We are still talking about how humans, how workers, how labels are associated with each other within the factory, outside the factory, what are the problems. So B is how you will eliminate rest of them and reach to the answer. B is your answer that way. Okay, we are done here. We are going to meet tomorrow 1 to 2 p.m. That's my class timing, and I hope to see more of you. I believe that you people are learning. You should be working on more comprehension, understanding things more. When I explain, try to think in the same way the next time you do similar pattern of question, and that should definitely help. I'll take leave now. Bye bye. Take care.